All right. Thank you to everybody who came out tonight. That was a heck of a football game you got to see, and a heck of a football game that we got to be a part of. We probably made it a little more interesting than we needed to. But again, to win the bucket for the first time in 12 years and get it back to Main Street, which was our team's goal, one of our goals for this season, that's a big deal for our program. To beat a Big 12 team is a big deal for our program. So there's a lot of good. There's a lot to learn from also in the second half. And we will do that. I thought that the first 24 to 26 minutes of the game was Rice out football. And it was the jump from game one to game two we wanted to see. And then we found a way to make that game way too interesting through turning the ball over and doing a couple things that we know we have to get out of our system if we want to be a championship team. But with that being said, I can't remember a time I've been more proud of a group of men in a locker room to continue to fight into overtime the way they do for the game to come down to absolutely one play on a 2-point conversion in the second overtime. Brought some guys with me that will get a chance to talk to you. You'll hear from Tre-Shon Devones. You'll hear from Coleman Coco, as well as Luke McCaffrey and our true freshman running back, Daelen Alexander, who had a big impact on the game today. But before they come up, I'll open it up for any questions. I think it comes down to our DNA. I really do. And what this team has decided to be about and how much they care for each other. Because, again, you take teams to deep water and you should love it, right? You should love the results. You should feel like when you're taking a team from the Big 12 conference to deep water, you're giving yourself a chance to win. But you're right. There's times we haven't been able to finish that story. And we finished it the right way today with a little more drama than needed.
And then talked about JT. You said last week, man, if he gets some time, see what happens. What do you think about any day and getting overtime?
Yeah, I think it's the 6th most passing yards in Rice history. So just the start of what he can do, because he played good today, but he didn't play his best game. Like, we're going to see better, and that's exciting. So I think there's a lot of good. I thought he was protected pretty good for the most part against some very exotic defenses. If you guys have covered us for years, you know how I feel about Doug Belk and how I feel he does as a defensive coordinator and how tough he makes every down. And our guys did a pretty good job handling that. I thought Coach Tuiasosopo put a great plan together and called a great game. And so there's a lot of exciting things going on that side of the ball, certainly in that first 24 to 26 minutes.
That last play, did you look? Did you cover your eyes?
No, I looked. They lined up in the formation and we Kodaked them. So that what we thought is if we did it late enough, they'd use up what would have been their number one call for that 2-point play. And looked like it was going to be quarterback plunge. And so then they came back and we were prepared. We had a better call for the plunge. And we were also very in tune. They might do something different because we saw the play start. And so they did. They threw the ball out there, saw the ball in the air. It seemed like it stayed there for a minute, but it was good when it hit the ground.
Mike, this is winning this U of H has been a long time coming for you and for the school as a whole. What was it like in this locker room when you got in there?
Oh man, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a club that I don't go to anymore. It was a very fun atmosphere and a lot of guys celebrating a very hard-earned victory. And again, this isn't about just today. It's not just about this week of prep. This is all the stuff we do, all the things we torture our body with in the summer conditioning to training camp to going back to spring and 6 a.m. workouts. So this is a cumulative effect of a bunch of guys making a decision to fight for each other. And it's a great result and really cool for this program. I think one thing that maybe I've done in the past is when we had a big lead like that, I've really tightened up, and it's in my West Coast, David Shaw, John Gruden trained way of just running the football. And we made a commitment not to do that for our team. We feel like we've got guys that we trust and we're going to give them a chance to go make plays. And unfortunately, I think we were going on a drive that I would have bet you anything would have ended in a touchdown or at least points. And receiver catches it and puts the ball on the ground. And that's disappointing. That's the things we got to get out of our system. The turnovers are really the only way they could have got back in that game. And unfortunately, we gave them an opportunity there, but really thankful we came back and shut the door at the end.
Your offense exploded in overtime after a relatively quiet second half. What do you think was the spark that got your offense forward?
Man, I don't know. That's a better question. You know, I was in the huddle, but like, again, it's about these guys. And it's about like JT having the me to you factor with Luke McCaffrey and throwing that back shoulder ball to the 5-yard line. Then it's about getting the opportunity to get into our goal line package, which we believe, I had John Kay talk to the team, and, even though he was 76-4 in the last 5 years at North Shore High School, he didn't give pregame speeches. And I said, man, look, you're a Houstonian. You know a lot about this rivalry. I just want you to give us something that's on your heart about this game today. And man, I would have run through a wall after listening to him talk. And what he talked about is our brand of football and making people understand that what we do is the right way to play football. It's not to have practice in training camp where you just do walkthroughs. It's not just to play powder puff and two-hand touch people. It's to play football the way this game was designed. And he said that we needed to go out there and put that on display. And that's what I kind of just built on that. I said, hey, we're going to go out there and we're going to show intellectual brutality. We're going to show our team DNA every play and every way. And so the message became one play at a time today. And I thought those guys took it to heart. They let kind of each individual play be a life of its own and live and die in that play and go to the next. And that's what you saw. Well, I guess I got to look down at my sheet and see how many total touchdowns he had. Golly, you had 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. We're instantly making this young man famous. I didn't mean to do that to you, Daelen. I'm sorry. But that kid earned the right. And what we say is this program is a meritocracy, and everything is earned in this program. And he was the best runner in training camp in short yards and goal line. And he went into Texas and he did it. He really converted the first one, in my opinion. His knee wasn't down. They said they didn't have a view to back it up. And then he got the second one and gained about 6 yards against Texas. And then he comes out there today and not just efficient, but great as a runner and running behind his pads and feeding people his pads to finish in the end zone. And there was no doubt in my mind when that 2-point play, when they got called for holding and they were going to move that half the distance, that we were going to put our big people out there and impose our will again and end this game.
Mike, the defense kind of showed that last week the QT was not when they came on involved that same stuff all over again.
Yes.
So what's the, I know you got the other group and you got a lot of executives for training, just what's the key that's lining this season driving that group right now? The
togetherness right now, the belief structure. They've got a couple things that they've made rituals before they go out in key situations. The defense went out in overtime today, and they got one that they talk about that's mask up, and they put it up and they played that way. And what I would tell you is I'd say that the rush, anytime somebody's passing, is working very well with the coverage. We're playing top down on things, and we're not giving quarterbacks a lot of time. And that was against an incredibly mobile quarterback today. And we were scared to death. I held my breath anyway every time he got out of the pocket, because that's what we didn't want to allow him to do. And we'll continue to focus on that and get better at that. And but again, when you got people that are playing top down and still making big time plays, Trey D with the interception today, Trey D with the defended pass on 4th down. That's really 2 turnovers Trey D caused. The interception, of course, I believe was on a tip ball. So there's some help from that front as well, but just making plays and the belief in each other. Our biggest message coming out of Texas was trust. Like, that's what I needed these guys to do. I needed them to trust their strength coaches and their medical staff, that they would do what's best for them. I needed them to trust their coaches, that they were putting them in the best positions. And then I needed them to trust themselves and do in the game what they've been doing all week in practice. And again, to the naked eye, without watching the film, I'd say we did a pretty good job of that today, but there's certainly more we can do better, and we will. That he was playing the game standing up, to be quite frank with you. Yeah, he got to play quarterback instead of chicken with his head cut off. So that was nice. I think we've got a lot of leaders. I mean, when your team votes for 7 captains, I think you do. And again, I told you guys at first, I'm not real comfortable having 7 captains, but when you have ties, I don't think it's my team to make that decision. So we did it, and all these guys have been awesome leaders. And there's even people that aren't captains that are absolutely incredible leaders. Coleman Coco is one of them. Like, our team looks to Coleman Coco. Our team responds to Coleman Coco. So again, whether you have the C on your chest, which I love that we put it on there like the NFL this year, or whether you're just a leader that everybody looks to in certain situations, like, we need all those guys. They're an extension of our coaching staff. And I think some of the training we did this offseason with Aplos and Brian Selman really came to show itself in a game like this. What our strength coach Hans Straub talks about when he pushes them through and beyond what they believe they can do, that's what gets you to finish on that 2-point play in overtime, in second overtime.
And then after averaging something like 2 yards of carry through regulation, 2.4 or something like that, how much did you need the game-winning offensive points?
Not at all. I just needed the 2 points, the points to come. To be honest with you, Matt, like, look, we got plenty of time. We know we're still a work in progress, and that's not going to change. But it certainly feels better to come away with a dub and to work with that tomorrow. And it's just always good. Like I told the guys in the locker room, I'm going to ask our coaches to push them harder than they ever have, because I know right now this team can take it. This team's in a good place mentally. We got a game coming up against Texas Southern next week, and then we got 10 more to come. Well, again, this is not a penultimate deal. This is not a summit. This is a good win for our program, and got 10 more to prepare for one by one.
I know it's about kids, but how cool was it to lift that value bucket trophy on the field after the game?
Yeah, it is about the kids, because I'm proud to get a chance to do that, but I know like watching them do it is better than me touching it. I promise you that. Like they're the ones that work so hard for it. You guys know this. I didn't play it down today, and I'm just proud as heck of the way these guys came together and the way they worked, and the fact they got it done in double overtime. So, but yeah, it was nice to touch that bucket. I've told you before that bucket's ugly as all get out, but I can't wait to kiss it, and I will tonight.
What do you most what you most want to improve ahead of next season?
Yeah, I think just their resolve and their ability to find a way to finish. At the end of the day, that's what I'm most proud of, because as Matthew alluded, we've been close a lot of times. And we finished. I mean, we beat Marshall. Went up to UAB and beat UAB up there. We beat Marshall when they were 15th in America. But we had times against a Big 12 team like Baylor when they won the conference where we were a touchdown away. We had the ball on the 9-yard line last year with a chance to beat these dudes. So we've had opportunities to finish this game against a Power 5 opponent is a big deal for our football team. What do I want to see us improve most? I think that's going to end up being a laundry list, and I probably don't want to tell you until Tuesday after I watch the film.
Steve, you have anything you want to ask?
Yes. Hi, Bloom. Congrats on the win. Just describe the process of Houston. This was a team that beat you 44-7 a few years ago. Last year, you came down to a goal line stand. What's it like making those incremental steps and finally seeing this come to fruition and win the rivalry trophy that you guys compete for?
Yeah, Steve, I think you're speaking my language. Those steps, as long as they're going the right direction, are what we're all about as a program. And those incremental steps have been there. But it's really nice when the incremental steps, that's what you say when you take over a program. You're going to go from losing big to losing small to winning big. And that's the natural transition of a championship program. And so you're right. Like if we're in phase 3 right now and we're going to win small, I may make it through the season. I may not. But the reality is I'm just proud of our guys for taking those steps each year. And I guess the same can be true about Texas, right? You look at Texas 2 years ago and they beat the life out of us 58-0. And then here we are with a team that's starting off the game, fighting them tooth and nail, the defense that's unrelenting and holding them to field goals. And I have no idea how the Alabama game turned out. How did it turn out? UT won. I told y'all they were good. Dadgummit. That's a good football team over there. They're a good football team.
And then the last thing I had, Bloom, for the first time, I think in your coaching career against Rice, you can look up at the scoreboard against an FBS team and see a 28-point lead against a Big 12 squad, nonetheless. What was it just like getting off to that fast start and seeing a lead that you guys haven't really had before?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't think about it in that context. I kept thinking like we got to go score. That's why we went 2 minutes at the end of the first half. And we had a chance to make that game 35-7 at halftime and really to answer the score they just had. And unfortunately, we turned the ball over, so that's one of those things. You talk about an area for improvement. It's right there. It's right in our face. Like the 2 turnovers are the biggest thing that we're going to talk about. That's going to be a margin between winning games and not winning games. And we know that if we can have a positive turnover margin with as good as we are, as talented as we are, and as good of situations as our coordinators are going to put us in, all three coordinators did a great job today, whether you're talking about Brian Smith with the defense or Pete Alomar with special teams. And I already mentioned Tui. So, I think like those turnovers are a big deal, but I did obviously know what the clock was at. We've got an analytics guy who I think is off the charts good, and Dan Gritty, and he has the book and he's brilliant. And he told me at one point in the third quarter, they had a 1.1% chance to win the game. And I just said, man, tell me when it's 0. And after that 2-point play, it was 0. So thank God we finally made it there. Thank y'all very much for coming out. Go Owls.
Thanks, everybody. How beautiful is football, right? Shoot, it's a world of emotions throughout the whole game, but when you end up, having more points on the board than the other team at the end of the game, it says a lot about every person in this room, everybody in this building, and what it takes to win a college football game. That's all I got. Questions?
You had
Yeah.
that one-handed grab from TD. It was one of those places where JT put the ball about the only place it could be caught. It's like with the TD last year, when you just put the ball. Hey, talk about that catch and what happened to happen on that play and just the chemistry that you JT are developing.
Yeah, I mean, that was just how he drew it up. So it was cool. Tui drawn that play up exactly like that, where he's going to put it low and reach one hand out early in the week. So it was cool to see that kind of come into fruition. Yeah, to be honest, I actually haven't seen it yet, so I don't know much about it. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. When you get out on that field, there's nothing but the moment, and so you kind of forget about everything else. But shoot, I'm so thankful JT's in this program. So thankful for just the demeanor he has every single play and the ability to put that ball where you need it.
Walk me through that offensive huddle. You guys, 35 unanswered points by Houston. You get the ball in overtime and you have to score. Kind of like we was talking, who said what, how to go, and I didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think naturally everybody talks at some point, but that's just something we knew. We got to get back to the basics. We got to get to our game plan, and had nothing but confidence going into that. We got to figure out a way to score in the third and fourth quarters, and that's what's so beautiful about this game is you can put everything into it. You can win a big game like that, and then you watch the tape on Sunday and you wish you had a couple more plays back. I know, thinking back personally to that last drive of the first half, I think that's one where I made a couple critical errors and we didn't end up with points. And so even that after a game, you're thinking about that, but you're so happy and so blissful that you got the win and excited to clean those things up and put out a better, cleaner project for next week.
Every wind's a big win, but just what does it mean anything more than this win as it means to U of H, just up and roll and the school hadn't beaten since like I think 2010.
Yeah, I mean it's everything. That's a game you're gonna have scheduled on your calendar, right? Every single year, because that's the team across town. You guys battle for everything. You battle for popularity throughout the city, you battle for recruits, you battle for the right to claim this state or this city within this state, and it means a lot. It's a special one.
What does it kind of mean is you kind of look ahead to have the game down to one play last year, if you don't win, and they come back to one play this year?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool when you look at it that way. I think you go back through the whole game and you think there's a lot of easy ways to not make it 1 point, but when it does come to those moments, it's cool to be able to watch our defense, JoJo, make a play right there in that 2-point conversion and to see guys do what they've done all camp, see guys do what they've trained for, right? And so that's something that's special about this unit of guys and something that's special about the culture we're building. Oh, ecstatic. You could imagine how it is. I mean, if you've ever played sports, winning is the ultimate feeling, right? And just that probably 10 minutes to a couple hours after a game is so relieving, breathtaking, and just full of appreciation for what you put into the game, and then we'll be excited for tomorrow when we get to turn on the tape and clean up our mistakes and come back next week.
Speaking of fabulous. Like, what was your preparation like to this game, and how are you going to build on today's success
Yeah, there's a lot, anytime you have a lot of new players like we have on our team, it takes a little bit to build chemistry. So we're really hoping we can come in every single week and get better. You want to improve every week. You can't stay the same in this game because people are going to watch you. People are going to identify your tendencies and attack those. And so just to be able to improve, to be able to get better, and that comes through preparation is going to be what's fun for us because we have a next step, Oh, he's a stud. Yeah, that's insane. How many total was it? 401. Yeah, that's pretty special. I mean, I think you look at how we got those yards too. We left a lot on the table. So hopefully, that's where improvement comes from. And I'm sure he loves 6. Everybody loves 6, but you always want to climb that ladder and, hopefully get 5, 4, 3, 2, and end up as the number 1, right?
Come on, guys. How's it going? Yeah, damn. It's pretty great to be here. Can't thank these guys enough. Can't thank the program enough. I mean, I'm at awe for these dudes and for this program. I think that we're heading in the right direction, and it's awesome, A-Bar. Awesome to be a part of it.
Coleman, walk me through at the end of the game. Looks like you're cramping up. You're laying down the field, and I see them send your sub in. He gets to about the hash mark, and all of a sudden you jump up and destroy me.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, when you're 5 years old playing backyard football and they're going for 2 to win the game and you got to nut up and make a play, it's got to be you, right? And you live for those moments, and I trust Damone to make that play, but if I'm out there, it's my shot to take, and it was great. I mean, overall, just great. We had the mentality that, they scored. Everybody got in there for a second. We were like, we're going to stop it right now, win the game right now. So took that opportunity and made a great play, and here we are. It's awesome.
And then with the quarterback run, and Bloom talked about y'all ready for that.
Yep.
What's it like when you have to turn around in slow motion and try and see where the ball is?
I mean, I just can't say enough about my position coach, Coach Calhoun. He gets us ready mentally and physically every single week for this type of game. And, our goal was keep that quarterback contained, put some pressure on him, make him do what he didn't want to do. And I think we did a great job. And overall, I can't thank my guys like Damone, Piercy, DB, these guys just grinding with me, and Isaiah. I mean, this was a long game. It was a hot game. It was a grinder, and it came down to who's going to want it more. And a 2-point conversion and double overtime with all your guys looking at you like who's going to make the play. I mean, shoot, we were ready for it, no doubt about it.
Seems like Brian had this pretty great game plan for you guys. Just what was it like executing this game plan, knowing what he did, calling you guys out for execution?
Yeah, I mean, I'll stand next to Coach Smith on the sideline, and he'll literally be calling the play out before it happens. I mean, the dude's a genius. It's unbelievable to see what he does, and he's always in the lab. And these coaches, I can't say enough about how football smart they are, and how mentally and physically ready they get us to play in games like this. So, I mean, awesome to be able to go out and get the win and do what we needed to do to get it done. But I mean, that's the expectation every week. We have supreme trust in our coaches. We're a real tight, wound group from the coaches down to the players. It's pretty awesome to see it all come to fruition for sure.
To get to FBS football, what's it like to be here, your first win for it to happen like this?
I mean, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty great to hold that bucket with guys that, I mean, in the short time that I've been here since January, and I've made friends that I'll have for life. I mean, those guys are like brothers to me. So, I mean, it was awesome. Great win, super emotional, a lot of great things to take away from it. And we're excited to just keep this streak going and use this as a propel to get a couple more wins in a row and start stacking wins and doing what we expect to do as a program and as a defense and as a team.
How you doing?
Well, I guess you're going to expect this from you every game now. What are your 3 touchdowns? I mean, you did this game, why not every game?
Yes, sir. As long as Coach Bloom just calls me in, I'm the scorer. I'm gonna do what I can for this team to provide. My goal for the season was to just provide it anyway. If that was special teams, short yardage, anything. And I think I accomplished that today.
Daelen, I'll go back second scrimmage. Dean Connors get banged up. You get your first reps with the first team on the goal line. what's it kind of like full circle from that moment to finding out you've been that job to then getting to do it on the stage?
Yeah, it was crazy because I never practiced it before that scrimmage. It was unfortunate that Dean and Ari went down during that scrimmage, and then they just threw me in there. I scored. Coach Bloom said I got the job, so I was preparing every day since that. Just to finish. Yeah, we worked real hard as a team throughout the week to get to that moment, and I didn't want to waste it and lose the bucket. So my goal was just to finish the game, root the defense on after I scored, just finish.
What was different for you on those, short compact situations? Because on the day, the offense really struggled to run the football. But when we needed 2 yards, got 2 yards.
It's a great question. No, I don't know. I might have to check the film out. Yeah, I don't know. I just run. So, yeah. Yeah, it was great. So first time beating them in 12 years. It's crazy. I'm just a freshman. I don't really know what they were going through the years before this, but I know it's going to be great. We're going to grind, get back at that practice on Monday. Just keep working for TSU next week.
How important was the play of the offensive line on this score, especially their end of the open?
Yes, I was on one-on-one situation the whole time. The O-line made it simple. I just had to beat the linebacker. So they did a great job. Everyone executed, and that's why we scored.
And then just getting the outside on that last one, the rest of them have been up the line. What kind of big line there?
Yeah, I saw them creeping in. So they kind of expected the same play. We ran the same play 3 times. So I just bounced it out and trusted my vision.
The teammates kind of tell you what talking about where the game was.
I think it was all unspoken. The team across town, we don't really like them. They don't like us. So it was that much more important. That's why it was great for the fan base, for the whole team in general. It was great.
That might be Scott Shooter as the game along there with the rest
Yeah, it's a gladiator sport. So it's gonna be like that every game. We're fighting. We all want to win. Nobody wants to lose. So we have to be more disciplined. We talked about being composure in practice, and I think we can all be more composed throughout the game.
Trying to get back to the field for a moment like this. Huh?
Yeah, man. Hey, how y'all doing?
How are you doing?
Man, I don't really know what to say on that, man. All I can just say is, man, thank you, God, man. And not only just thank you, God, but just like thank you to my teammates as well. It's been like a very hard journey to be able to get to just playing between those white lines with my brothers. And it really means a lot to be able to do that. And just to see the faces on like everybody, like knowing that we haven't beat this team in 12 years. And last year, how I was on the sideline too, and just seeing how they felt after they lost that game when people said we should have won it, and just walking off the field and just really enjoying the field when the fans ran on the field, just seeing people's faces like that I've been at school with for like 4 years. And that was probably some of the biggest smiles I've seen on my teammates' faces. So I really found joy in like seeing my teammates happy. So like that was a good moment.
Talk about being on the sideline last year, and you were a freshman. Like, what's it like? During A, get back on the field, and then B, defense is on the field for a 2-point try to win the game.
Man, so sideline life ain't cool, but like during I'll be the first to say that it ain't cool. But I mean, like in those times, I feel like God was using me to like actually be like a servant during that time. And so like during the time I was on the sideline, I would always try to find ways to contribute to the team. I know that I probably wasn't gonna be eating at that time. Like I had to deal with being on the sideline, I had to deal with my injuries. But I know like if I just kept stacking those days and helping others, one day my plate will be full where it's my time to eat. So that's really just how it was being on the sideline. Man, like I said, man, I done seen the quietest guys was jumping around and screaming. I think I seen new personalities from people I never seen before. He had guys that only say like 2 or 3 words since I've been here, and then now they in there just jumping around, screaming. Some of them got some good dance moves. I mean, I didn't know that either, man. It was just an environment that you'll never forget. It's a memory for sure.
Seeing the improvement of the team from year by year, coaches talk about losing big, losing small, winning big. And so you're doing that, and then just how does it mean anything more that this win, that you got this win against U of H? Doesn't matter how you got it, but if you got this win against U of H, that team just down the street.
I say winning for us is something that we really strive to do, especially like knowing how we've improved every year. We had a year where we won 3 games, next year 4 games, next game 5 games. So like winning is always like the end goal for this team. And winning today, we were satisfied, but we all like the difference between now and then when I played with some of the teams before is today when we won, we had people going around already thinking about things we can get better at. And so that's like a real stepping stone that I've seen. And that just goes to show like the mentality of the team now is that, yeah, we're okay with winning, but like this needs to be the standard now versus us just celebrating as if it's just like, oh, we won this time. So like using this game today, yeah, a win is a win. Could we have done some things that would have made this game cleaner? Yes, but that's what's practice for, and that's what watching film is for. So can't wait to get back to work with my brothers tomorrow. Get our legs back up under us, and get ready for next week.
That is huge for y'all as a team, but this is the first win for a power conference team for Rice in 18 tries. What's it like to be part of a victory that's significant for the rivalry, but significant for the program as a whole?
And as a program, I think this win really helped us a lot. I feel like not only just like with the win, like having a win in a column sheet, but like just as the morale of the team, just knowing like we've preached to each other that we can do it. Like this is the best team that we've had in a minute. And it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to actually see the fruition of it. So I think like today winning this game just showed like, I mean, you seen the score, it was 28-0 or 28-7 at one point. And that was a glimpse of like how great we really can be. And yeah, we had some things go on throughout the game, and that's the whole point of us coming back tomorrow and correcting it. So like just seeing that how we play at our best and seeing that like we only can beat ourselves at this point is something that was like very good to see. So like I said, I'm blessed to have my brothers going to war with every time we step between those white lines. And shoot, we need to celebrate tonight, but we know what's ahead of us.
Thank you, Trey.
Thank y'all.